Monday again.
Guess what that means? Another episode. Are we adulting yet? Podcast.
Hopefully, this episode is finding you well, and hopefully,
it finds you at a good time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you need this episode.
I feel like us personally, need every single episode. Like, we need to get this shit off of our chest.
Specifically pertaining to our lives, I feel like.
Like, we really need it to go on.
Man.
So I hope someone out there is feeling the same way.
Shout out to growth.
Yeah, for real. I feel like I've grown a lot with this podcast.
Girl, who are you telling?
Isn't it crazy?
Since the beginning of when we started. And guys, it's almost been a year. We have almost been doing this for a year. It doesn't even feel like it flew. Like, the moment me and Ollie were like, yeah, let's make a podcast. And like, people were like, what made you do a podcast? And we were like, we're random.
We just want to do it.
We made it happen, though. Like, oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's helped a lot.
I think it has too, especially me, helping me realize certain things about myself and being like, damn, that's true, or damn, I got issues with that too, you know, like, just kind of opened up a lot of things to learn about myself, I guess.
Yeah, same. I just thought it would never be like, wow, podcasting is going to change my life.
Right.
Who would have known?
And it has, though, you know, like, and I feel like I feel more responsible to uphold my goals and my dreams and different things that I want to succeed in or accomplish just because I'm talking to you guys. Like, I feel like, you know, like a few months down the line, I want to be somewhere else. And I'm hoping I will be somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's exciting to see growth, but it makes me want to grow even more.
Right.
So that I can continue.
And it's exciting, too, because, like, you see I see personally how much I've changed from a year ago. And, like, not that I didn't know how to, like, hold a conversation before, but now I can, like, really engage and, like...
Right.
My
facts and opinions.
And, like, you know.
I like it. But, no, I get what you're saying, though. Like, it's just been...
And it's crazy going back to, like, the first episode we recorded that we were so and nervous, I remember recording it. We were like, this is so weird. Yeah. We're just, like, talking to so many people, but, like, really to nobody.
And now it's just the norm, and we talk freely.
I know.
We're comfortable.
It's so cool.
It's great.
Shout out to us.
Shout out to us, and shout out to our people that have been listening from day one, man. Like,
yes.
We love you.
So
We'd
dope.
do nothing without you.
So dope.
But anyways.
But yeah, so we're going to go right into our grown folk business, which you guys should know by now is just little recaps of things that we've been up to that have been making us feel like we've been adulting.
Yeah, we just talk a little bit about what's happening with our lives outside the podcast itself.
And I like this segment too because it makes me realize, like, dang, you really did that this week. You really hardcore adulted this week.
I think that's one thing that we kind of like had a conversation with you, Madison, and we talked about like just knowing how strong you are. You know,
yeah,
like you don't know.
I feel like a lot of the times we just go, and we don't give each other like
the credit
or
we
give
deserve.
or give ourselves time to really reflect. Like, right. Wow, you really like when
look where you've gone, baby girl.
Right.
Look where you're going.
Or like even in the past week, like, dang, you know, I really overcame that obstacle. I was so busy in the moment that I didn't congratulate myself. And now us sitting here, like, we reflect upon it and we're like, wow, I made it another week.
Right.
And adulting is getting a little bit more harder, but we're getting it. Right. We're getting it. And it's getting okay. Or maybe it's not, but it's fine. We're alive.
Here and we're still doing our podcast, so that's all that matters. I mean, this is kind of like, in reality, this is our way of venting about different things as well. So yeah. It's just a great thing therapy. Overall. Yeah, and I hope it's your therapy too, shit, because... the stuff we talk about is just random and stuff that we feel is important to talk about. So,
yeah.
Hopefully it affects you the way it affects us. We're hoping. But anyways, what's your, what have you done that's been grown this week?
You know, I said all that just to say I don't know.
I'm so grateful for nothing.
Actually, I do know. I've had to really just how do I put this? I've had to really just sit back and be okay with a lot of things, and the reality that sometimes things, don't go your way, or don't, people may see you differently than what you actually are, and that's okay. And I think that that's really fucking cool of me, that I just sit back and I'm not fazed by a lot of stuff anymore. I feel like myself even just a year ago would have been like, oh my God, what? My whole life in shambles.
Right.
And now I see, like, I'm just sitting back and I'm like, it's fine. It's
Girl,
okay.
We growing up.
I know. Like, I think that's very adult of me. Another thing is, I had to take an at-home COVID test. And I never thought I would have to do that in my life. I had to stick a cotton swab up my nose, move it around my nostril 3 times, and then take it out and put the same swab in my other nose, in my other nostril.
Ew.
And move it around 3 times. And
Did
then
you do it real deep like they do it?
They were like, it doesn't have to go deep, just enough to where you don't see the cotton swab. But when I went that deep, it was pretty fucking deep. It's like,
I still see. Oh shit!
I was like, ow, like moving it around. It was weird.
Oh,
but yeah, and then I found out there was a FedEx drop box literally like 4 minutes from where I live. So,
dang. Bloop. So now you're waiting for results.
Yeah, and I can't go back to work until I test negative.
So what scared you to think you had COVID?
Because my throat was hurting like a bitch. I was like, I don't even know. I got horrible allergies after leaving work. And I was even in my Zoom class for school, and I had to keep like hiding the camera and shit because my nose was running. I'm like a hot ass mess. It looks like I probably just finished crying my eyes out every time I would go back on to Zoom.
Right. What's going on with her?
It looks so horrible. And then by the end of the night, I felt like a head cold. And I was like, it's probably just my allergies. It was because it was super bad. But I'm like, damn, my throat hurts. Like, I feel like I'm a little sick.
Right.
So I'm like, whatever. I go to sleep and I wake up, my throat hurts even more. And I'm like, no. And I sounded horrible. I was like, they're going to send me home.
Hey, I'm here. I'm ready to work.
Literally, they would have been like, you have coronavirus, go home. So I just called out, and then they were like, you can't come back until you test negative for COVID.
She was like, well, okay.
I was like, it's not the worst thing that can happen.
With all the struggles you've been having.
Yeah, but I mean, now I know how to test myself for COVID, so 2020. That's how 2020's going.
Girl, I haven't even tested. I should go get tested to see, and then hopefully there's a test where you can see if you've had it before. I don't know how they do that, but that's too extreme. But I feel like I need to go get tested just to get tested in general. Mm-hmm. I'm scared of that damn swab though, but
yeah, that swab. I mean, it wasn't really that bad, but once you go like deep up there, it's kind of like it hits a nerve, like it hits something. I don't know.
It hits something, and I know I'm there.
Yeah, something I don't normally hit.
I'm so done. But to go off what you were saying beforehand, that you react completely different to situations. Mm-hmm. I will say that is something that I have definitely grown to be more mature about, because before I used to bitch about everything, especially to baby daddy, and like everything he did bothered me, anything anyone did. I was just very, like, I was very easily irritated, mm-hmm. easily triggered, like, and now it's just like, oh, you think I'm this. Cool. Oh, that's good for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff does not faze me the way it used to, because at the end of the day, your opinion, your words ain't paying my bills, ain't doing nothing for me.
Right.
So why am I going to apply it to my life and stress myself out over it? No. Your opinion is your opinion. That's cool. You have it. And I have my own reality. So
right. And that's just so important to have. Like, of course, if somebody comes to you and they express something and they express a concern, it's important to accept that and to understand that. But to also remember to take care of yourself no matter what. I mean, you don't owe anybody an explanation as to, I feel like, and I've always been this way, but I think I'm like even more. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't feel like if you're not, I don't know. I feel like to an extent, I don't owe anybody an explanation as to why I am the way I am. The
Oh,
people
of course
that
not.
the people that love me and that know me will just understand who I am.
Right.
And I know that sounds kind of
No, I don't think it sounds bad or
like selfish in a way, or like kind of like
no.
ungrateful or like spoiled, but like I just really don't give a fuck. To be honest. I mean,
Girl.
I don't know.
It
There's
just
so
doesn't-
much
it
I can
just
say
doesn't
about
faze
it.
you. Like, I don't know. There is a lot you can say on that.
Yeah. But I just rather like keep it at that. I do want to talk about something else, but I think I'm going to save it for another episode.
Okay.
So I have an idea brewing.
Tune in for that
I
one.
have an idea brewing.
We haven't even talked about what our episode is about.
Yeah. Back on topic.
Today our episode is about a few things. We wanted to talk today about. Can't even put these words together. We wanted to talk today about criticism, normalizing failing, and asking for help and being open to it. Yay!
Woo! It's important, y'all. Like,
every single one of those is very important, and we just felt like
it's important to talk about. I feel like it's really important to talk about, especially going into growing up, because growing up, you want to make it seem like a lot of people, me and myself included, we want to make it seem like we have it all put together. Like we can handle this. We got this, and like when we don't have it, it can feel like a lot.
mm-hmm.
Like, like
the pressure's on.
The pressure's on. You don't want to disappoint your parents. You don't want to disappoint your family, your friends, and you don't want right. And it's like it shouldn't be like that. Because I mean, I'm only 28 years old. All I'm going to do is keep growing. So I'm going to keep making mistakes. I'm going to keep failing and improving, and it's the only way to I'm going to do that till the day I die.
That's the only way for you to grow as a person.
Right.
And become wiser as what not to do. Like, I mean, it sounds stupid, but it is common sense. You go through things to understand what's right or what's wrong, or what does adds value to your life or what doesn't, and you make decisions based on that. I mean, some of y'all are dumbasses and still go with the others.
Dang.
I mean, me included. I was in that for a while too. But no, I just think it's super important to definitely be open about your experiences. A lot of people are embarrassed, and I think that's something that, because a lot of people are not as confident with their own experience and stuff, but I feel it's very important for people to hear your stories, whatever story it is.
That's very true. That's very true.
Because you don't know what people go through, So, like,
I'm so torn with that, because, like, I'm all for accepting my past and, whatever, and, telling my story. But I'm also, like, I'm torn with it, because I'm also, like, it's in the past. I'm over it.
Ain't no reason to bring
the past
it up.
is in the past. We're over it. But, I mean, I also believe the things that I went through in the past are the reason that I am the person that I am today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a conflicting thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, I try to just move on from everything, but can you really?
I think if it leaves something unsettled in your soul, then it won't be something that just can go away.
Yeah.
I think that's something that just takes time. Because there's a lot of stuff that's not right in myself. No. I just feel like there are some things where I don't think that there's been many moments where I've asked for help. But I feel like nobody likes asking for help. Nobody likes asking for help. And whether it's with work, your life, your school, your mental situation, your family, whatever the case is, don't be afraid to ask for help. What is the saying? The saying is, closed mouths don't get fed.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't ask for help, if you're in school and you don't answer to a question, in high school they were like, don't put up your hand, you're a fucking geek if you do, or like, like...
Right, or like, the teacher's always trying to say, like, there's no such thing as a dumb question, but you still feel like, damn, this is kind of dumb. Right? Or like you ask the question and people laugh. Like,
and it's crazy, though, because it's like that's the type of stuff that stops you from.
Or that's where it stems from too. You grow up and you're like, I don't want to ask. I don't know. I'm scared.
You know what? Where that changed for me, because in high school I wasn't very big on asking questions. When I got in college, I was like, forget this. I'm gonna ask.
I'm paying for this shit. I need to figure it out.
My first couple years in college were trash, but but that definitely taught me something. Like, but if you want it, you gotta go get it yourself.
Right.
That was definitely one thing, and that's one thing that I kept in my mind with school, and that's why I hadn't been in school for so long, because it was like, if you really want it, then you'll go and get it. And here we are.
Right.
I guess that's another thing I'm adulting with, doing school on top of everything else.
Yeah.
Planning a party, all types of crap. So it's been one, but we'll get through it.
Yeah. We always do. Some way, somehow. Alcohol helps.
It really does. I have a glass of wine right now.
I'm trying to be responsible. I have my water, but in my heart, it's wine.
Don't be fooled. She definitely had a glass.
I know.
But she has her water now, and I have a glass for her.
I had a margarita earlier, too, so.
But I looked up something about failing, just a couple of definitions that just talk about what it is, and I looked it up, and it said it's a weakness, especially in character or a shortcoming. And then it also says it's an imperfection or weakness in character, and that's kind of like,
I don't agree with that.
damn, right? Like,
I mean, I guess it is, but like, to fail is to be human.
that's what the definition is.
Right.
Failing is to be human.
Right. Literally, you can't.
That just, it sounds all bad, though. Like, it sounds so bad.
Well, and failing has a bad stigma attached to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it says an imperfection or weakness in character. And is it wrong to have an imperfection or weakness in character? I think damn near everyone does, you know? So, like...
Right, like, that's being perfectly imperfect. Right. Like, the fuck?
What is this?
I don't know. I think, like, failing... I don't know. Failing is, like, the only way to get ahead. Mm-hmm. It really is. I mean, think about when we were babies. Mm-hmm. The only way we were able to grow from being babies is, like, trial and error.
Right.
Walking.
That's how you learn all of it, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
and,
true.
like, humans have been failing since, like, the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. Like...
How have they been able to create the shit that they've been able to create?
Right, and look where we are. Look where we are because humans have failed. I mean, R.I.P. to, like, all the humans that like ate a plant that was probably poisonous. But then, you know, the human species then was like, we don't touch that plant. That's failing. And then learning from your failures. Yeah. So it's like, it's super important. And I think it has such a bad rep. We need to normalize it. Like, it needs to be, like, if we do, no one is going to be born doing something perfectly the first time. And if you are, good for you.
And that's the thing I was going to say too, like, when people first start something new, they get scared to try it because they don't want to fail.
Exactly. That's me, bro.
But then it's like, how are you going to know if you're good or not if you don't even try it?
Right.
And unless you try it and do fail and get back up and try it again, how are you going to get good at something?
If
like,
at first you don't succeed.
First you don't succeed.
Get yourself up. Wait, get your back up and try again. You can dust it off and try again. Try again.
Here we go there, singing.
First you don't succeed. First you don't succeed. Oh, oh. You can get dusted off and try
Excuse
again.
our horrible vocals, especially mine. Oh my God.
No, but for real, like, shit, that song is true. Dust yourself off and try again.
If you don't succeed, do what you gotta do, man.
Literally, like, it's so important. And, like, I struggle with that, too. I find myself not doing certain things because I'm like, I'm not going to be good at it.
And that's a lot of shit, girl. Because, like, remember our last episode was the fat phobia. Mm-hmm. But I'm not 100% sure if I mentioned about how, like, what the fuck was my point of this whole thing? What did you just say?
How you were, like, scared to do certain things because of your insecurities? Is that where you were going with that?
Yeah. Okay. So, from the last episode that we had, Fat Phobia, it was like I stopped myself, especially when I was more chunky, like, from doing certain things because I was self-conscious. So, like, I had to learn. I mean, that's still a work in progress, but, like, you know, I just, going back to what you were saying, like, it relates in a way.
Yeah, it does.
You know, so, like,
it does. And like, I just hope one day to get to a point. I think I'm for sure getting there, but I want to get to a point where I'm just like failing and I can laugh at it. Yeah. Be like, well, now we know that doesn't work.
Honestly, like, I think of everything and I'm just like, I don't want to say nonchalant about stuff now, but it's just like, it's on my mind heavy, but I don't react to it. You know, like, I'm just like, it's not even worth the energy. Like, at this point, I'm tired of putting on energy with, you know, I'm tired of giving energy to stress and all these other things in my life that are not good for me, you know, like.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, and like, also we were talking about how far we've come with the podcast. Think about how many times we failed with this damn podcast. Even with like recording errors, microphone errors, like everything. Like I had to go take my computer to the Geek Squad because I just like, I don't know what I did to it. And like, we failed, but now we know. Yeah. And like now we know what mistakes not to make, like what not to do, so we can be better. And I think that's really cool.
And I hope that you guys see that throughout, like, if you've been a avid follower, you know, you would be able to see the change that we've made and how much we've grown as a podcast. And I think it's pretty damn great.
So. It is really great. I mean, think about when you watch like a show when it first aired versus like their last episode. Right. You see so much change. Right. You're like, whoa, they really grew as a show. Yeah. And like, that's what we're doing.
Right. We're hoping we give that off because we've seen it ourselves. We see the growth that we've gotten.
Yeah. And I think that's why that's a good thing to refer back to every time we are afraid of failing. Like, it's the only way to get ahead. Don't be embarrassed of it because everyone's going to do it. And if somebody's going to talk shit about your failing,
fuck them.
Bitch, you try to do this.
Right, I'm sure you failed too. Why are you judging me?
I bet you the people that are talking shit are the exact same people that have never tried doing it. Mm-hmm. Because if they tried, they would know as well that you're going to hit some obstacles.
I just feel like no one can talk shit or point fingers because damn near everyone has tried and failed at something. Even as a kid, like you were saying. Yeah, we
aren't born automatically succeeding. Yeah. I mean, the only thing we have succeeded is coming out of a vagina. Right. 100%. Or like out of a womb. That's the only thing we have succeeded since day one. And like, that even took work. It took 9 months to try to figure that shit out. Right. Like.
Who I was going to be.
It's like. It's crazy how we have like this bad rep on like failing. And I think it does stem back. We're scared to disappoint our parents, maybe. Mm-hmm. Scared to disappoint our older, like the people that we would look up to. We don't want to disappoint.
Which then stems to people not asking for help. Like,
right.
And then, well, I don't know if I had looked up some things about asking for help. And on CNBC, they said that it's very hard to ask for help because it often... it makes people feel uneasy because it requires surrendering control to someone else. Mm-hmm. Saying, would you be able to help me with this stuff? Like, and you really need help with it? And they're like, no, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, damn.
Oh my God, you need help with this? Bitch.
I mean, little things like that to big things, you know? Like, if you feel like you need to ask somebody for help, ask somebody, you know? There is somebody willing to hear you and help you.
Dude, and I love when you ask somebody for help and you're like really like dreading it and the person that you ask just makes it so easy. And then they're like super cool, super dope. Like, you know, like
I try to be the type of person that like when someone does come to me for advice or if they're going through something, I make it a point to like maybe it might not be the next day, but maybe the next week or the week after that. And I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Yeah. You know, how are things going for you? Yeah. And people notice stuff like that. Yeah. And then it, you know, it means something and it makes a difference in someone else's life, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think that's really important. So even if you have trouble asking for help from some people, maybe you can be the help for somebody. You know? So
I mean, you can always be the help for somebody or open, something like open, just like. And that helping others has been like proven to like release some happiness shit in your head.
And you know what? I believe in karma 100%. So if you do good to others, it will come back to you.
Yeah, that's true too.
So,
I believe that shit.
Yeah, I believe that 100%. So be good to people, man. And normalize failing.
Yeah.
Tell them it's okay.
But also with failing, I think another reason why we're scared to fail is because we're like of the criticism that we receive. And like that goes into our next topic of discussion, like criticism. Like, why is it so hard to accept criticism? And I struggle with this so bad. And I try really hard not to struggle with it. But when people tell me, like, you know, you could really do this better, I want to be like, oh my God, so what I did was horrible?
Right.
Oh my God, so I've just been like looking like a fool.
Right.
Oh my God. So I like overthink the situation way more than it needs to be. And then it's like, bitch, this person was just trying to help your ass.
Right.
Just accept it.
It's okay.
It's okay. You weren't a horrible person.
No, I think criticism for me when I was younger was really bad. Like I wasn't trying to listen to nothing. Like now I think that there's different ways to approach someone on criticizing them, because I think that's also very important, how you approach someone about what they're doing wrong or what they're doing right about whatever they're doing. Mm-hmm. But like I think it makes a very big difference, because you can come to someone about criticism and try to criticize what they're doing, and well, you can come up to someone and try to criticize them for what they're doing.
Right.
But, like, it won't even help the situation. Like, or you come with an attitude or in a way that's unpleasant. How is the other person going to take it?
Yeah.
So I think that's also very important, too, because if someone's talking to me with attitude and I'm like, damn, like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, I'm responding back with attitude. You know what I'm saying?
Defensive. Mm-hmm. And that, like, you need to be, like, it's important to give constructive criticism, but, like, receiving constructive criticism, you have to understand it's constructive criticism for a reason. I feel to be better, like to help you be better, to help you grow. And like,
I feel like a lot of people are quick to try to give people constructive criticism, though. Constructive. Let me put some quotes around that.
Yeah.
And I think people are quick to tell someone what they should be doing with their life and stuff like that. And you should be doing this that way and this that way, that way. But you're saying all this criticism. That's another thing. You're telling me, you're criticizing me about what I'm doing, but you ain't nowhere near me in life or what I've accomplished.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I understand people go at different paces and stuff, you know, in life. But, like, don't criticize the way I'm doing stuff if it's going to be in a judgmental way. Mm-hmm. If you're going to criticize me, tell me what I could do instead of that. And maybe I'll consider it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I feel like I get, like, that. I feel especially in a Hispanic environment, we get criticized a lot, and maybe that's why we can't take constructive criticism very well when somebody's just trying to be a little polite and like helpful. You want to be like, don't tell me how to live my life. And like, I think it's important to say, thank you for, you know, I respect your opinion. I respect,
and I'll think about that, and I'll consider
I respect your opinion,
because that's smart.
Right?
Because sometimes it is great criticism. You know, some people will give you that, even if it's a little blunt. Some people will know how to, you know, hey, I think that, you know, with the podcast, I think that you could work on the vocals, or I think that you. How do you think we've gotten where we've gotten?
Right, and like. Either way, criticism to me is perspective, and perspective is so important, because you don't want to like. Perspective is going to help you think in different ways, especially when you're trying to grow. Mm-hmm. So, like for with the podcast, for example, getting other perspectives is always important to me, because it's going to help me see something I may never have even seen ever in my life, because I don't think that way. So, like. Even taking, what am I trying to say? Like taking criticisms that you don't necessarily agree with, sitting back and saying like, thank you for that perspective. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I will think about what you said. I'll think about what you said, and I will, you know, thank you for sharing that, and let that be that. And I think we get so defensive because like me, I feel like personally I was raised in a, like, being criticized a lot as a kid. Not really, like, intentionally. No one intentionally criticized, but, like...
I think it was just out of habit. But...
Right. I mean, but I remember...
I still
You're
remember.
You're gonna wear that?
Right. Why you got your hair
What
like
do you
that?
mean?
I look cute.
Right.
Why you got your hair? Did you do your hair? You gonna do your hair? And
Right.
It's like,
I did my hair.
No, I mean, like, I get what you're saying with that too, and it's crazy though because we've had episodes on this too about self-love and like learning to love you and everything, and our parents are like, nah, you're not coming out the house like that. So I think that growing up like that kind of messes with that too, because
it makes it difficult. Yeah,
like you're used to hearing criticism. Do you want it all the time? Hell no. So it's kind of like, and we got it either way because it didn't matter, So
right.
I don't know. It's just,
but then it goes like, are we a product of our environment? How do we give criticism? Like, how do we give our criticism to people? Is it in that same kind of flow and we're not realizing it?
Right.
I mean, I think I think very hard before I give a criticism because I want to make sure my words are like...
Girl, my ass be giving criticism. No, real quick. I should be like you, though. Definitely sit back and reflect on what I want to say and how I should say it.
I mean, sometimes when I'm really comfortable, like my boyfriend, when I give him a criticism, I'm super comfortable with my boyfriend. So I'm like, nah. Like, you already know, bitch. He wears a pink hat, and I hate it. I hate the pink hat.
Oh, no.
I'm here to tell the world I hate the pink hat. And every time he wears it, I criticize him and I notice it. And I'm like, bitch, if I was wearing something that I really loved, I would be pissed if he kept telling me this shit.
Like, bitch, I know you don't like the hat. I'm still going to wear the hat.
Shout out to him because he stays strong. He shows up with the pink hat every time.
I love for you. That's what it is.
But, like, I noticed that, like, the more comfortable I am, the more I'm like, you're wearing the pink hat again?
Not here again. No, not this one.
So that's something I personally need to work on because then I am like the people that have raised me. I'm doing the same thing. They were comfortable with me and they were comfortable criticizing me, and look at how it ended up.
That's hard to recognize when you're like being the same way or like
because
you're just so used to it. It's habit, so it's like I don't know about that.
Right. I'm like, everything that you say to a person, you always have to think, how would I feel if that was being said to me?
Right.
Like, would I be accepting that? And sometimes you think about that and you think you're cool accepting, like, sometimes I would say things and in my head, I'm like, if somebody told me this way, I'd be cool. Mm-hmm. But I still might be hurting somebody's feelings, so I still fuck up. But we're human. We all do that. Mm-hmm. But, like, I try very hard to, like, reflect on what I'm about to say before I say it.
Right.
And it's just, it's so hard sometimes.
I feel you.
But, like, what would it be? I wonder, what would it be like? Who would we be if we were never criticized, if we were never critiqued? And we would be a fucking hot mess, in my opinion.
Everyone would be. Can you imagine the person who thinks they're bomb as fuck at doing hair and they're horrible at doing hair?
They're horrible.
Don't get no criticism and they're still doing hair.
Right. Or think about a fucking doctor, a surgeon.
Right. That
thinks he's the best surgeon and he's killing people.
Yeah.
Like, we need to be critiqued to be better. And I think normalize failing, but also normalize being critiqued. And that's hard too.
Just being open to the both of them is kind of hard, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Like, be open to the fact that you can be critiqued and you're not going to take it personal. Asking for help.
And I think, too, it's very important, like, for creatives. It's so funny that we, like, refer to ourselves as creatives. Creatives like us. It's so cool.
We're creatives.
Hi, I'm Dolly, and I'm a creative. No, but for real, like, for creatives, we've been critiqued a lot on the podcast, like, on what we can do better, what we haven't been doing good.
And we love the criticism. We do. Like, we don't knock it at all because we want to grow.
Sometimes we receive a critique, and I'm like, well, they don't know what they're talking about. Right. Because we've been doing it. And I, like, you know what I'm saying? And I have to sit back and be like, they're trying to help. Yeah. And I have to take it into perspective. This is another person that's listening to it from the outside. Right. Outside listening in. Why would I not take their criticism into any kind of effect, Yeah. So it's kind of hard to do, especially as a creative. And, like, I think putting something out there for like people to listen to or to see or whatever, it's already so, for me, it's so like I don't know, like it gives me
anxious,
anxiety.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, what are they gonna think?
Oh
my God, is it up to par? I could have edited this so much better. Oh my God, I could have done this, I could have done that. And we're always like already critiquing ourselves. I mean, like I'm critiquing
like when
myself.
they're at the therapist and then they're like, they say something and the therapist starts writing and they're like,
I know.
What are you writing?
I know I'm crazy. You don't have to tell me. But it's true. I mean, like, I don't know. That's a hard one for me because I kind of like, it's hard for me to accept criticism like that and just move on.
Yeah. I think it's hard for a lot of people. It's not just you, girl. You are not alone.
But I have to remind myself, like, who would I be without the criticisms? Mm-hmm. I would be literally like a potato.
Yeah.
Just nothing. But kind of a lot of things because because potatoes can be many things. But at the end of the day, it's just a fucking potato. Right. Either if you're a French fry, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes,
sweet potato.
You're just at the end of the day a potato. And
that's the point.
Who you will be if you never get critiqued.
Just a damn potato. So, we also wanted to talk about how this is our first episode of September, and September is Suicide Awareness Month. So we wanted to put that out there. I had a friend in 2013 that had committed suicide, and it was a crazy time. Like, it's hard to be understanding of the situation and why he did. You have so many questions, but I feel like if my friend Eddie would have asked for help or been open to
receiving help
or even criticism, because he was a hard ass.
Right.
He was a hard ass. That was my nigga, but he was a hard ass. And I wish he was open. He would have been more open to taking criticism or asking for help with certain things and just being open to change and to face it head on. Not like it. So I just feel like some people are out there that need help and they need someone to listen to them. So listen to your friends, because some of them are not okay. He was one that didn't show his emotion very much. So it was a big shock to a lot of people that didn't know him like that. But he wish he would have been more open to things, so that he would still be here with us. He felt like everything kind of consumed him, like in life, and he felt like he couldn't go on. So like, to be understanding of that is very hard because of what he left behind. But maybe if these things were in place for him, things would have been different, So I think a lot about things like that too. And just being there for people, like if they need it, even if it's just an ear, to listen to them. And a lot of people feel comfortable with talking to me. And I give them my little nice criticisms, Yeah. My little nice criticism, but, I don't know. People have their own lives, though. You can only do so much. You can only criticize so much or give someone so much advice. It's on them to actually take the steps to ask for help or just be open to listening to criticism and things about life. So pay attention to your friends, love your friends.
Yeah,
let them know that.
Yeah. That's another thing we need to normalize, like telling your friends that you love them, and we don't do that.
Not very often, no.
Yeah, we don't. We need to normalize that shit.
Love you.
Because I love you.
I love you too. No, and it's true, though, because honestly, like, I don't know. Well, in our situation, I don't know what I would do if you were not here, girl. Like,
I know, like, what? That would be so weird.
Because we're damn near, like, sisters, so it's kind of like, what the hell?
Yeah, we need to normalize that shit.
But I think, and then that's another thing, too, though. Like, be careful, not even about be careful about who your friends are. But I was lucky to have someone like Dolly in my life. So when I did need criticism or did need to ask for help or being open, she was someone I could go to. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, find someone that you can confide in and
Yeah, same.
to be
Vice
that person
versa.
for you, you know? So like,
And like think about how good it is, how good it feels when somebody just like speaks good things to you.
yeah.
So imagine if that was like speaking, like somebody was speaking like that to you often, like your friends, your family. We need to normalize that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That
We
can
do.
change your mood.
It really can. Your whole day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
We're like
text everybody on their phone.
We're like becoming aware as fuck. Wow, woke. We should have been doing this all along. But it's so true. So
just be kind.
we love you. Y'all are great. Look at this outfit y'all are wearing today. Ooh. Eyebrows on fleek. Jackie, you're looking bomb.
In pajamas, I look
She looked fine as hell. Who's single?
Right. Oh my god, that's funny. But just to end our episode, the question we are going to ask you guys is, are we failing yet? I hope you are.
Yes!
Because we are too.
Yeah, failing.
Hell yeah, the failing.
I've never been so happy to fail in my life.
Go out and fail and become better.
Yes.
We love you guys. We'll see you next episode.
Bye. And you guys already know what to do, but I'm going to remind you one more time. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Have a great week, guys.
Okay, bye. Jackie's pushing me out. Bye.
Bye.